So you've decided to buy a home, but the process is a little bit fuzzy. Where do you start? What are the risks? How do you make sure the home you select isn't a bad investment for the future? These types of questions are often paralyzing and may even prevent you from pursuing a home purchase. But I'd like to lay out exactly what you need to know in order to safely and successfully purchase a home here in North Carolina. My name is Trevor Burris with the Trev and Jess team of Love It Properties, and this is going to be the first video in a 5-part series that discuss the steps in order of how you go about purchasing a home. We'll start in this video with the first step, which is pre-qualification. Then in the coming weeks, we'll work through the final 4 steps, which are showings, offers, due diligence, and closing. So let's get into the first part of this guide, which is pre-qualification. If you are like a lot of the buyers that I work with, this part may feel a little unsexy. It's one of those things that you just have to do in order to move on to the fun part of looking at homes and throwing offers. But often you still have a lot of questions like, who do I talk to first? What exactly do I need in order to present an offer? How much do I need to put down? How do I know how much this will actually cost every month? Let's talk about how this element works into the purchase process. First, a quick definition. Pre-qualification is basically determining your limits to purchase a home and qualify for a mortgage. Typically, you would want to engage a lender or multiple lenders to get a letter of pre-qualification or pre-approval from them before presenting any offers. The big distinction between those two is the pre-qualification is more of a general look at your credit, your debt, and your income, and it's less specific. They can do this without even doing a hard pull on your credit. This is the best option if you're just trying to get a feel for what you can afford and don't really know when you're going to be ready to purchase. A pre-approval, though, is more intensive, and it actually means you qualify for the loan. They both serve a similar purpose in verifying your ability to purchase, but the pre-approval definitely carries more weight. It's good to have this done so you actually feel really confident that you can pull off the purchase. But this actually matters more to the seller of the property because it gives them complete confidence that you can qualify for the loan. Is it worth getting more than one pre-qualification? Well, a pre-qualification from any lender carries basically the same weight. The big reason to shop around with multiple lenders is to see if you can get a better interest rate or bump into a better lending program that you haven't seen yet. The good news is the pre-qualification does not obligate you to work with that lender. You can continue to shop around up until the point that you go under contract. Once you have that first pre-qualification, you are ready to present an offer on a home. The seller will see this as verification that you are capable of getting a loan to complete the purchase. If you went the route of getting pre-approved, then the seller will have even more confidence that you are capable of purchasing their home. It is so important to have this pre-qualification or pre-approval in order before you start looking at homes. I typically tell my buyers I don't really want to show them homes until they get that in order. It's because I want to protect their emotional state from getting hurt by not knowing exactly what that home could cost them. If you see a home that you are absolutely in love with and then you find out you can't afford it, you're going to unfortunately be measuring everything else up against that one home, and it's going to hurt. Better to know exactly what that pre-qualification limit is so that you can focus your home search on what you can best afford. The last thing I'll mention in regards to this is that the pre-qualification can be a little bit misleading as to what you actually want to pay on a monthly basis. You may be allowed to borrow up to $500,000, but ultimately you don't want to make a mortgage payment that's higher than a $400,000 payment. It's super important to work through these costs ahead of time with the lender so you aren't caught off guard when you get to the closing table and realize this is going to cost way more than you thought it would. Ask tons of questions to your lender so you can zero in on exactly where your monthlies are going to land. Interest rates are constantly fluctuating, taxes will change between area to area, so there's going to be some flexibility with that payment, but they can give you a pretty good idea of where that's going to land. Worth mentioning here too that most lenders allow you to lock your interest rate at the beginning of a contract, so that helps you better predict your costs. Also, it's important to look at the different programs that are out there, whether you're putting 3% or all the way up to 20%. If you'll have PMI on your loan, all these are great things to work out with your lender so that you know exactly what you'll be paying. Ultimately, doing your research to understand your costs during this pre-qualification period is so important. It will help you know your limits and be ready to present a really strong offer. And that was a quick introduction to the pre-qualification and all that it entails. There are definitely more nuances as to how this step affects the rest of your purchase, but I'll try to flesh those out in the next steps that we're going to go over in the coming weeks. If this information was helpful to your buying process, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel so you can be notified when I post new educational real estate content every single week. The next step we'll cover is showings, and you'll get a kick out of what we're planning for this one. We are going to take you through some actual live showings. Plus, I'm going to have a special guest joining me for this one from the Trev and Jess team. Hint, it's not me. So stay tuned for that one coming up next week. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you here again soon.